Hi Josh, hope you're doing well. Just a little recap of what you did in your session over here in Shanghai. So a lot of stuff really. If we look at you on the left hand side and you on the right hand side, the biggest difference we just see is in your start position. Left hand side you look maybe 65 years old. On the right hand side you look more like your age. So just getting in a, we call it a more athletic start position, but just getting a little bit more hinge, we'd say, from this area here, just hinging from your hips instead of just slumping forwards from your shoulders. Just helped with getting a bit more athletic start position, which helped with what we did later on. Other things a little bit further away, just to give you a bit more balance, give you a bit more space there away from your hands compared to the body. Okay, now if we talk about what we really want to do, when we saw you on TrackMan early on in the session, longest carry distance was 100 yards. By the end on the right hand side, we got to about 145, and there's a few reasons for that. So we're just going to go through the swing and just remind you of some of the points that we covered. So left hand side, we can see just in here the tempo of the swing. Okay, so we can see that the tempo is really fast, but what we're going to see on the left is why that was. And the main reason was your swing was pretty short. Okay, so then in a pretty good attempt to try and add in some speed from there, what we see in the downswing with you leaning back and hanging back on your right side was a way to, with that swing movement, get as much speed as possible. But just wasn't the most efficient use of your speed. So what we can see on the right hand side, tidied a few things up with your start position. I did the drill, which you can see just in here, where what I was doing was just holding your head and making sure that there was less movement with the head, because my first bit of advice was with the grip. The second bit was just to feel like the swing was getting pretty long. Okay, now originally when we're getting the swing to go long, there's too much movement with your head, you were losing, and standing up, losing a few of the angles that we wanted. So this is me with the snag club just to work on your grip, and then keeping your head steady so we can still make a big turn, but still keeping the angles that we want it to have. Okay, so here started to look a little bit different. Okay, if we fast forward back to what you really did with the ball, now see your backswing, your arms are moved a lot further. Head still has stayed down, which means you can still keep this angle instead of standing up. And as a result, even without much thought on your part or words from my part, the end position now starts to look a little bit different. So the only other drill we did was just the arms really straight on both sides, just to make the circle of the swing easiest to control, especially as we're getting used to this new movement. If we just take this through and explain just the last thing. So like I said, this added in about 45 yards, which was good, but when we went back to the TrackMan area, we had few too many shots that were coming a long way off this side of the club, okay, which was making them go off sideways. Okay, now the main thing with that was just that now coordinating where your body is, coordinating where that tiny little bit of metal at the end of the shaft is, was a bit difficult because the movement was extremely different. So this is when we went in with the tennis balls to start off with, to give you an easier feel. Then after that, we just put the tee on the ground somewhere here, just on the inside of the ball, and your goal was to miss the tee, hit the ball. So without adding in any more technical thought, you were then able to get back to the middle of the ball with that new improved movement. So that started to work. So like we say, you need a little bit of work on this. Would be an understatement, just to change this movement pattern. But what you did in the lesson was great. Again, the last thing that's going to make this easier, if you see just here, a good rhythm would be about 3 to 1. You can see this area of ideal, that would be somewhere in that ballpark. Where you were before at 1.5 was why you found it difficult, especially with the driver, to control trying to get that golf club straight onto the back of the ball. Obviously on the right hand side, did a much better job. You can see it's there in the ideal range, and really good job. So any questions, let me know. Enjoy the golf in Australia, but very well done. 10 miles per hour, 50 yards of extra distance should help you in the big family match.